Welcome to Vegan Toastmasters. I almost said I'm Chef Mary Berkshire. I am President Mary Berkshire, and we have a special chef, that's why I almost said that, here visiting us today. And today is not just our open house, today is our 15th anniversary of becoming a Vegan Toastmasters Club. So that's great. A big hand to Dave for starting the club and keeping it going all this time. 15 years is certainly a long time. So today we have an open house. Our goal for the open house is to attract new members and to share our Toastmaster Club with you. And you don't have to be vegan to join. And you can come as many times as you want before you join and participate in table topics. So we're really excited to have so many guests here today. We also have a special guest, Chef Babette, who is here from Things I Eat, Stuff I Eat restaurant in Inglewood. And I've been following Chef Babette online for years. I've known about her, and I've never gone to Inglewood to go to the restaurant, but I'm certainly going to. I can't wait to hear her speak, and we're super excited that she's here. So we'd like to take just a minute to go around and have the guests stand up, briefly introduce yourself, and tell us how you found out about us, and just a couple sentences about your vegan life, or want to be vegan life. So could we start with the first guest over here?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dana Gale, and I am the area director for Toastmasters, so I support this club and 3 other clubs in this area. And I'm here now to support Vegan Toastmasters in their open house and also their 15th anniversary. That is amazing, yes. And I will also be serving as grammarian. I'm here to help if you have any Toastmasters questions. I've been a Toastmaster for 4 years plus, and it has been life-changing for me. It has been wonderful. I've met so many great people, and I'm excited to be here, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. Chef Babette, would you like to stand up? You can if you like. Just introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, I'm Chef Babette. And I own a vegan restaurant in beautiful downtown Inglewood called Stuff I Eat. So if you have not been there, you should make a plan to come and
Definitely.
visit. Yes. And
Thank
thanks
you.
for having me here.
Thank you.
My name is Paulina. I've been vegan since 2012, and I can attest that her food is delicious. I just kind of randomly, I had always sort of heard about Toastmasters and been a little bit interested, and I Googled vegan Toastmasters, not thinking anything would come up, and it did, and so I thought, well, it's a sign, maybe I'll just stop in.
Oh, great. We're glad to have you. Thank you. Yes.
Hello, my name is Lana, and I came here to meet Chef Babette because I'm your big fan. I follow you on social media, and you're my role model.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Yes?
Oh, you're Chip. I'm Tony. I've been vegan since the mid-'80s.
Hi, Tony.
And I've come to some of these open house vegan Toastmasters meetings.
Great. Thank you for coming. Hello.
Hi, my name is Dorothea Hart, and I came from my friend that invited me. She's vegan, and so I'm getting recipes from her about vegan. I'm learning about vegan, and so I try to be more vegan, and not eat all that meat stuff. I'm a retired pharmacist for a year, and I'm into nutrition and health and movement.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Good to see you.
Hi, my name is Jarre. I'm new to the area. Moved to LA a few months ago. I found this group on meetup.com and wanted to check it out. I've been vegan since 2016 and just looking for more ways to get involved in the scene. So,
Great. Where did you move from?
the Bay Area.
Oh, great. Good. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm Becky. Been vegan about 7 years and heard about you guys from Meetup and a Facebook page and decided to check you out. And I've been meaning to come to your restaurant, and when I saw you were speaking, I thought, oh, it's a good way to get my foot in the door.
We're glad you're here. Let's see, who's the next guest over here? Yes.
Hi, I'm Maribel. I've heard of Toastmasters before and always wanted to go, but I've never been. And then I stumbled upon vegan Toastmasters along with vegan stuff, but I've been vegan officially last year on my birthday, so really last year. And it started off slowly, gradually because of health, but then officially I couldn't take it how the animal, like, I'm done being a hypocrite. I'm done. So that's the reason. And then because of my job conflict, I haven't been able to come, so I finally told, please let me out early, and I was let out early from work, and here I am.
Great, we're glad you're
Hi, I'm Mark. I've been here before. I'll be here again. It's nice to be here tonight.
here. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, I'm Luca. I've been here several times. And,
We make visitors speak every time, so hopefully you'll get so addicted to speaking you'll join.
so yeah, I don't know what to really say, but yeah, I'm here.
Thank you for coming. Okay, yes?
Oh, yeah, I'm with my relatives, the Zolmans, and I've been here before about a year ago. But I wish you had something like this out in Santa Clarita. I live too far to come on a regular basis.
Well, we could carpool out in Camarillo. We could meet at the 126.
Someone should start one, and my point was, someone should start one in Santa Clarita.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm Carrie. I've been vegan for about 2.5 years now, and I'm currently on a journey to become a certified health educator, a plant-based health educator. And so I found this group on Facebook and wanted to check it out, and I'm hoping to make speaking kind of part of my career in the future.
Oh, that's a great idea. We're glad you're here. Let's see, we didn't do the front row here. Let's see.
Well,
Do you want to speak?
sure. Yeah, I'm Jeff Fleiss. I take these sporadically. Been part of the humane community for a while. And I've been stalking Jane Below, as mentioned. Oh, there she is. Thank you.
Thank you. We're glad you're here. Yes?
Hi, I'm Kate. I'm here with Ellie, and I've been here several times, and it's always...
Welcome back.
Well, thank you. I'm trying to be more vegan, too.
Good, good. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Vivian. I've been here before. I love it. That's why I come back. But the really exciting thing is I tutor. I tutor this a number of children, but one of them is in the 4th grade, and I have like a 3-level backyard, and the top is like a little Zen garden. And now when he comes over, he looks at me and he says, Toastmasters? And I say yes. And we go up to the top level, and I have a list of topics that he can talk about, and he's otherwise pretty shy, but he gets up there and he loves to
That's
talk,
awesome.
and I'm counting his ums and ahs, and so it's
I love that. You might consider starting a kids Toastmasters club.
I know, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, welcome everybody. And would you introduce yourself? Would you introduce yourself?
Hi.
Hi.
Jane Velez Mitchell from JaneUnchained.com, and we're just scooting around to try to get a live signal and the lighting and all those little things that make the difference between it being live and attempting it to be live and having it not be live.
We're so glad you're here. Thanks for all the work you do. Okay, at this point in the meeting, I will turn it over to our Toastmaster, our Mighty May, and we're going to have a great meeting. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Mayor. Welcome, everyone. It's great to see all your bright, healthy, vegan faces. And we're super delighted to have Chef Babette here with us today, and we'll be hearing from her during the second half of the meeting. As Toastmaster, I will be emceeing the meeting, and I came up with a theme for the day, which is Eat to Live. So the idea being that by what we're eating, we're promoting healthy living and helping others follow by example to help protect our planet, our health, and of course the fellow earthlings we share this planet with. You may have seen there's a handout on the back explaining couple of the roles you're going to be seeing throughout the meeting today. It's kind of a quick guide for newcomers and guests. So as I mentioned, Toastmaster, which is my role, is the MC of the meeting. We also have functionaries. So I will start with our grammarian for the meeting, who is Dana, and she chose a word of the day. Would you explain the word, please?
Yes. Good afternoon again, everyone. The word of the day is dauntless, which means fearless or determined. And to use it in a sentence as an example, when I first started in Toastmasters, I was scared, but now I feel dauntless when speaking in front of people. Yes. So whenever you hear the word dauntless used by any speaker who comes up, we'll do a little drum roll, yes, or hand wave, whatever you can to show that you heard the word of the day and that they used it correctly too. I will also be listening for any great usage of language or any improper usage of language too. So, thank you.
Thank you, Dana. Now I'll introduce our counter, who is Sam Zolman. Would you like to come up and briefly explain what your role is?
Thank you. Hello. Today I will be doing the role of the counter, which will be counting the number of filler words, such as but, you know, so. So is a little tricky one though, because if it's at the beginning of a sentence, it may not be a filler word. But that's a good example of a filler word. To explain why, here's a quote from the Toastmasters International website about why counting the ahs are so important. Using excessive fillers is the most irritating speech habit, a speech specialist told the Wall Street Journal. They distract your listener often to the point that he doesn't hear anything you say. Your message is entirely lost. So, at the same time, of course, I want you to be dauntless in giving your speeches. Not worry about too much, it's just about feedback and improvement.
Great. Thank you, Sam. We also have a timekeeper, who will be Andrea Zolman. Andrea, would you come up and explain your role? And if you could use the microphone, that'd be great. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Today I will be timing the table topics. Usually we time all the speeches, but because we have a guest speaker, we're not going to be timing that. But my role is to monitor the time during table topics, and at the end of the meeting, I will report the times of each participant. This will let you know if you delivered your speech in the allotted time frame. And so, table topics. For table topics, you have 2 minutes to speak, and at 1 minute, I will hold up a green sign. At 1.5 minutes, I will hold up the yellow sign, and at 2 minutes, I will hold up the red folder here. So that's it. Thank you.
And for guests, as long as you meet the minimum of 1 minute, that's acceptable, and if you don't, it's fine too. But just for purposes of the contest, you have to have at least 1 minute of speaking to qualify, and no more than 2 minutes and 30 seconds. There is a 30-second grace period. We won't be timing the speech because that's our guest speaker, but that just applies to the table topics. So carry on however you like, Chef Babette. So now I have the pleasure of introducing our table topics master, and she will be leading that session. Her name is Susanna McGee. Please help me welcome her.
Dear guests and members, welcome to the table topics. This part is really fun because everybody, even you guests, can speak here. It's no pressure. How Almighty said, you will speak 1 to 2 minutes. If you see the red card, you have another 30 seconds to finish. And one big reason why we do these table topics is because we are learning improv to speaking. You don't know what you are going to talk about because I will ask a question and then you lift a hand, come here and speak. So you have to quickly figure out what to speak about. And like I said, normally we have prepared speeches also, and it's maybe 1 or 2 people here we have these table topics for about 30 minutes, and everybody can participate. So guests, be dauntless, and raise your hand and come here. Today's questions that I prepared is a little bit about health and being vegan, because I was not sure how many non-vegan people we have, how many people are transitioning, how many are vegan. So we have all these different levels of experience. And with these questions, you who have a lot of experience, you can share it to help those who don't. And you who are transitioning, you will maybe learn something that maybe feels difficult. So let's start. First question. Feel free, anybody, lift a hand and come here, okay? First question is, people often believe it is really hard to be vegan. What is your experience about it? Was it hard when you transitioned? Is it hard now? Okay, please, David.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Is it hard? You know, it's funny, changing anything, changing any habits, changing anything in your life, especially as you get older, it becomes hard. But really, when I made the change back in 1991 to my eating habits, it was strange. I shouldn't say it was hard. It felt hard, but really it was just different. It was still the same foods I'd eaten before, but I just didn't have certain foods on the table. And of course, veganism is more about just your diet. But back then, I found that was the hardest thing. I used to go and pick up food at a certain place. I used to eat certain things every day. It was just a cycle. And now it's like, hey, what do I do now? That's not here anymore. And so for a while, it took me just to get used to eating that instead of this. And really, back in 1991, there weren't like fake alternatives that we have all today. So we had to sort of have, potato and certain other things in there. And so, the funny thing is, when it's all over, you look back and you think, how was it hard? What's so hard about being vegan? Even back then, it was much more challenging to get similar things. It wasn't really, I look back and say, was it hard? Or was this different? It was just a change. So I really think it's all about changing and getting used to changing and changing habits and things like that. I don't really think it should be thought of as being hard. It's just different, and it's a life-changing event, and it's all for the good. So that is my answer.
Thank you, David. Was it hard for you to become vegan, and how you made it easier, please?
Hi, fellow Toastmasters. I became vegan quite a while ago for my health and for the environment. But once I realized I made the connection to animals, and so I call myself an ethical vegan, where it's a lifestyle, it's not just a diet. Once I made that change and I realized all our food was tied to these innocent animals, it became extremely easy. Once you realize that you're hurting innocent beings by your diet, you would just rule out anything that has to do with exploitation of animals, and it becomes extremely easy. Of course, we live in a privileged society where we have food at our beck and call, but I think that even in challenging situations, if you have your ethics in line with your diet and with your choice of clothes and food and way of living, it becomes very easy to make those decisions. So that's how I keep my vegan diet and lifestyle going. Thanks.
Thank you. Great explanation. Anybody else? Is it hard to become vegan? How do you make it easier? Please, Vivian.
Last night I went to a restaurant with some friends, and I did what most of us do, I think. I called in advance to see what they had that I could eat. So that's now just become the norm. It's not difficult, it's just, at first it was challenging, but challenges are fun. And I see being vegan as a really big life challenge, and I'm excited to be able to take part in it. That's all I want to say. I know it's less than a minute.
Thank you, Vivian. You should know better. You have to wait for the green card. Anybody else would like to speak? Yes, please tell us how it is hard or easy.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andreas. I've been vegan for 4 years, and I went vegan overnight, finally. After 10 years of being told you're not getting enough protein, I finally built up enough courage to do it. I went to Berkeley Vegan Earth Day, met the health educators, entrepreneurs, business owners, and it finally gave me a niche for photography, something for me to support. And with websites like meetup.com, Facebook groups that are vegan Los Angeles, and especially where I was from, the Sonoma County Vegans, just having that support group and all these people making foods where I could just show up, chow down, share fruit and vegetables that I love, nuts, seeds, legumes, whatever you can think of, conjure up. And I experienced so many new foods that I've never experienced before. There was even a fruitarian group in the Bay Area, and we would have jackfruit parties, eating the biggest fruit in the world, sweet like bubblegum. And eventually it led to me going to the Big Island of Hawaii, where they had the Big Island Fruit Fest. So being out there for the first time, I've never been in the tropics, it was like being on an alien planet with all these new fruit and different flavors of fruit that I already knew. They had like posters of fruit, the different varieties of bananas, mangoes, even avocados, and all the different tropical fruit, just charts of them just to gorge on, seek out dauntlessly. And I have so much more to share with you in the future. Thank you from the Vegan Photography.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to please our guest? Okay.
I'm Becky. I've never done this before. When I became vegan, I actually cried for about a week because I am a big foodie. I'm from Louisiana. I prided myself on my Cajun cooking, which included a lot of animals, unfortunately, but I've always been a huge animal lover, and I've discovered, you know, my cognitive distance went away, and I discovered, oh wow, I'm really a hypocrite here, loving animals so much and eating them in my diet. And so I made myself watch all the videos for the animals and what happens to them, and there was really no going back after that. But I did more in giving that up because I liked the taste of it. But now that I started venturing into vegan cooking, I like the challenge of coming up with good recipes and finding good recipes, and all these new ingredients came and new foods, and I never realized I just used to eat the same things basically over and over again. And now I've discovered things like nutritional yeast and things that most people never heard of that are not vegan. And I love going out and finding new things and new foods to eat. And one of my favorite things to do is to go to parties and make vegan recipes, and I love it when people don't know I'm vegan and then they go on and on about that dish, and then I get to tell them, oh, it's vegan, and they're like, what? This is not vegan, and I'm like, yes, this is vegan, and then everybody wants the recipe. So I kind of take that on as a challenge now, and love cooking for other people. Last Thanksgiving I went to a party that had about 30 people, and I made all kinds of sides, and everybody was asking me for the recipe. So I look at it as a challenge. It was hard to do initially. I did do it right away, but now I find it fun. Did I go for a minute?
Thank you, that was awesome.
Amazing.
Amy, yes, please come here. Tell us.
Well, the short answer to this question is yes, it is hard for me. Like the first David that spoke, I've been vegetarian since '91. And like the second David that spoke, I am an ethical, now vegan. I only managed to vault the vegan hurdle about 5 years ago. I'm really very dauntless in most other areas of my life, but this one is a challenge. It's easy for me to not contribute to the suffering and the industries that cause it. So I will not go to a restaurant and order anything. My big challenge is opportunistic food. If I'm at a party and there's pizza, and I figure it's already there, it's very difficult for me to resist tempting food. Food has been an issue for me pretty much my whole life. So I will continue to strive to be dauntless in the face of food that presents itself that I don't want to eat. And that's one of the reasons I am here to commune with all of you. So thank you all for being here today.
Thank you, Amy, for many dauntless too. Sarah, please.
I was at my friend's house in Atlanta, and I said, I want to have some babies. And she said, why do you want to have babies? I said, everybody else has kids. I'd like to have some too, possibly. And she said, you're vegetarian. And I said, yes, I am vegetarian. With great conviction, I was so proud how I was vegetarian. And she said, do you love animals? And I said, of course I love animals. Why do you think I'm an animal rights activist, right? You're so dauntless in your animal rights activists. She said, let's talk about children. What do you think happens when a mother is 9 months pregnant? A human mother has her baby normally. She has her baby, and she gets to keep her baby, unless she chooses to give it for adoption. But a cow, a baby cow, and this goes on Amy's point of why I stayed vegetarian for so long. But when I looked into a cow's eye, and then I saw a baby calf, which I was told was taken away 2 days after the baby was born. However, I actually witnessed a baby calf taking away between 1 and 3 hours after he was born. And this is why I dauntlessly asked my friend to have this ear tag, and I wore it last night at the Cube of Truth Anonymous for the Voiceless. It's 6610, and I wear it in my ear because it reminds me of why I'm vegan. Why I'm vegan is because it aligns my morals with my actions, and therefore I decide not to participate in any form of exploitation at all, period, of any non-human being. Because human liberation, we can overcome, and we are our voices. We have our voices. Women were able to vote because they had their voices. But animals, we are their voices, and we must continue to be. So I urge anybody that needs help going vegan from vegetarian, I can talk to you anytime offline privately. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. You are amazing. Thank you so much. There's another guest. Please come here.
Hi, I'm Jari. It's my first time here. So for me, my husband and I actually went vegan together. I kind of slowly transitioned, and he went overnight. He went from vegetarian to vegan just overnight, very suddenly. And I kind of struggled with it at first because we were both into eating really healthy. We're into fitness, and we're told, like, eat meat, it's protein, you have to eat this to be, gain muscle, be strong. And then all of that was just turned upside down when we just learned about the reality of the animal product industry. So it was very conflicting to let go of that and learn what we could do to eat more healthy and still, meet our fitness goals in the gym, et cetera, stuff like that. So it was hard in that sense of trying to find the information to make it a smooth transition. But for me, honestly, after that it became easier, after kind of finding the different alternatives. Like I love to bake and cook, and so I had to learn how to bake with egg alternatives, milk alternatives. But once I started doing that, it was like a fun challenge. It just made me kind of rediscover food and fall in love with food again, and it helped me with some of my food issues that I had, like making sure I was eating enough, and it really helped me get in the nutrition I was not getting before. So yeah, anyway, after that it became easy and a fun challenge to find vegan restaurants, and eating out became kind of fun, like a fun challenge. And then I wanted to help others make the transition as well. So actually in April I got certified with Victoria Moran at the Main Street Vegan Academy in New York, and I'm working on having my own coaching practice so I can help others transition as well.
That's beautiful.
Thank you so much. Anybody else would like to speak about how hard or easy it's been? Yes, Kim.
Unless you have another question.
I have other questions, but come and tell us. You have something important to tell.
Well, my story isn't much different from many of you. I too was vegetarian for many years, and I definitely think it was hard. It was hard to be vegan. I had been vegetarian. I was also ethical. I was so proud of myself, having barbecues and offering, remember the Boca burger that was at Costco, and I would offer that and shock people that there was no meat in it. And then I got married, my husband went vegetarian, I raised my 2 daughters vegetarian, and I can't imagine going through all that without eating my cheese, you'd go to children's birthday parties and there's cheese pizza, that's always the option for us vegetarians. And it just sounded like crazy to try to get rid of dairy products because they're also in so many things. So I didn't really, go there. And then I started hanging around Dr. Armighty May. And I know some of you members have heard this story before. I started hanging with Dr. Armighty May, and she immediately told me, well, a lot of people think the dairy industry is way more cruel than the meat industry. And I was like, wow, I never thought of that. And then, of course, I started learning about it. And one time I went to the Animal Rights Conference 4 years ago where she was earning an award, and so I went to support her, and I started looking at all the different little booths, and I ended up buying some t-shirts that said, "Hell yeah, I'm vegan," and stuff like that. So I brought these t-shirts home, and I said, okay, I guess I'm vegan now. That's how I did it, and now I can't even imagine, now it makes me so mad to see how many animal products are in almost everything you touch at the grocery store. I mean, it pisses me off, and now I'm a rebellion. I don't want any of that, and I don't want, I encourage people not to partake in it also. But yes, I do think it was hard, so that's my story. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Anybody else, or shall I ask another question? Let's ask one more question, okay? Sometimes, or often, when I tell people I'm vegan and I tell them how amazing it is, I get this. I would never be able to be without meat. I love it too much. What do you answer them? Please, Mary.
This revelation that I've had lately about clarity kind of answers both questions. I first was introduced to being vegan when I was about 14 years old because a friend's mom served tongue with potatoes and carrots. And afterwards she said, "How'd you like the dinner?" I said, "I loved it." These guys have heard this story before, but, and she said, "Oh, I'm glad that you like tongue." And being a 14-year-old, I went home and told my mom, and she said, "Oh, sure, tongue, people eat tongue. I'll show you in the grocery store next time we're shopping." And that was the beginning of my up and down veganism, vegetarianism, was the clarity of realizing what I was eating. And I've, over the years, gone back and forth from being vegan and vegetarian. But lately, I've been dauntless with my veganism because I'm at a point in my life. I raised my son vegan, and he's 30, and he was born in '87, so I made a lot of unfriendly associations with people, especially family members, because of raising him vegan. And now I'm at a point in my life where I really want clarity, and so if I was ever tempted to not eat vegan food, it was because I would smell a barbecue in the backyard and I would think, "Oh, I want that." But now I'm kind of trying to slow down and connect my desires with my emotions and wonder why I want certain things. And that's what I try to urge other people to do, is because now that I'm really clear about what I'm doing and I don't care what anyone thinks, I don't care anymore. And so I am sure that I did the right thing. I'm sure it's the best way to live, to be vegan. I would eat just a can of garbanzo beans and a bowl of brown rice. I don't care what I eat, okay? So now that I have that clarity, I realize that I am in touch with emotions and desire, and I often realize that sometimes I have that desire in my mouth, but it's connected to something that's not real. So I hope that made sense.
Thank you, Mayor. Anybody else? I love meat too much. What do you, Sarah, please? Okay.
Go ahead.
Armandi. Okay, come on, Armandi.
Well, the animals love their lives, and we owe it to them to protect them. So while the taste of their flesh might be pleasurable for some, that does not justify taking their lives. The momentary transitory gastronomic pleasure obtained from contributing to the suffering and demise and death of another sentient creature doesn't justify that. So from an ethical standpoint, I would say that we need to be mindful of others, not just ourselves. And those others do include non-human animals that we share this planet with. I also think that there are plenty of plant-based alternatives to meat products and dairy products that are tasty, delicious, affordable, accessible. You can make them at home if you don't have access to certain stores and specialty products. You can make almond milk at home. You can make cashew cheese at home with nutritional yeast. It's become a lot easier. You can make coconut milk, ice cream. There are plenty of options available. There's just no reason to contribute to animal suffering.
Thank you, Armandi. That's a great answer. Sarah?
We were at Anonymous for the Voiceless last night in Hollywood, and Anonymous for the Voiceless had an International Cube Day yesterday, and there were 500 chapters all over the world globally, thousands of volunteers showing the clips from Dominion documentary, where they went in 2017 and they did the investigations of the pigs, the cows, and all of the animals that are suffering. So what we did last night, which we were very lucky, is we had a 75-inch flat panel screen in Hollywood with our other 32-inch panels and laptops. James Aspey came by, and if you don't know who James Aspey is, please look him up. He's from Australia.
One of the main reasons he came last night to the Hollywood Cube of Truth is because we did have that big, huge flat panel of Dominion. So he was able to say, I've been there, I've seen these, I've witnessed this. So the flavor, you love the flavor of ribs, you love the flavor of chicken wings, you love the flavor of steak. You love the flavor, that's what you love. You crave the flavor of what you were used to, what you were conditioned to when you grew up. So if you want the flavor, there are so many plant-based options. So there's a plant-based option for anything that you want the flavor of. If you want the flavor of ribs, you can buy vegan ribs, plant-based ribs. If you want the flavor of steak, you can have a tofu steak. If you want the flavor of anything on this planet that you grew up with and you feel that's part of your tradition, something that you want to keep going, that's okay. It's all right. You can still have what you want. You just can have it in plant-based and nobody has to die. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. It was excellent advice. The time of table topics is coming to the end, but let's have one more if somebody wants to. Yes. Oh, Sam, you want to speak? You haven't spoken yet.
You can go if you want.
Okay. Gentlemen, fight. Maybe we can do two more.
I'm going to be so dauntless to let you know that your love is non-consensual. Just like the love of a praying mantis, they devour their lovers. Are you really that barbaric? You see, for the flavors you crave are all being replicated with plants. Even the animal products you crave are being seasoned with plants and minerals. We are emulating everything you can imagine. I advise you to join us and also experience the health benefits of a whole food plant-based diet. I will let you know that there's this notion that plants feel pain. However, if I tear your hair out, you'll feel it and you'll go ouch. However, your hair grows back, just like a plant. I can sever a plant into two components and place it in the ground and it will grow. However, if you sever your leg off and stick it in the ground, you're not going to clone yourself. And your leg won't grow back, trust me. We're going to have to progress as a human society to where we can replicate our own limbs and grow them back. But by that time, we'll be able to replicate animal products, which I know is irrelevant because we have such a large, dauntless group of vegans in this room. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was a great comparison with the plants because that's what the non-vegans always bring and it's difficult to explain. This was perfect. Last, Sam, you are going to be the last one for the table topic.
Hi, I'm Sam. So what did one cannibal say to the other as they were eating the clown? Does he taste funny to you? And while that's kind of funny, I don't mean to be a downer and say that maybe this is the wrong question, but perhaps it might be, because if someone says, I love the taste of meat, it's really pretty much a foregone conclusion. It's similar to, let's say, someone who you're trying to convince who's a smoker or a cocaine addict, and you tell them, gee, look at what all that nicotine is doing to your body and to the environment, and, you know, or maybe it's the cocaine or whatever. Is that going to convince them? I don't think so. And I've been in those situations. I don't know that I have the right answer. I think what Sarah pointed out about all the good alternatives is a great way to go, and perhaps the best way and the only way. I'm would say though that unfortunately, again, if someone already says that I love meat, if you told them, well, your grandson, your dog, your cat tastes good too, you love meat, which is why I brought up the cannibal joke, right? Would they think that that was okay to eat their dog or their cat or even a child? Because, so in that case, what can you do? In that case, all you can do is what Sarah did and give them the options, but it may be futile. Sorry to be a downer, but I was not the start.
Thank you so much. Now we came to the end of the table topics, and normally what we are going to do, we would do at the end of the meeting, but today's Toastmaster meeting is a little special because we have our guest speaking later. So what we will do now, we will do the little evaluation of our speeches, little speeches. I will call on these important people, timer, counter, and grammarian, and they will give us reports what has been happening, and this is going to be really fun for you guests if you have never experienced this. That can be depressing sometimes, sometimes just funny. I would like to start with Miss Timer. Tell us, please, the results. Come here so everybody can hear better.
So, I have great news. The first thing is that no one surpassed the 2-minute and 30-second mark. So that was really admirable, and I'd use the word dauntless, but it doesn't really apply. All right, so should I go through each time? I wrote every time down. I'll just do it really quickly. So David Rutan, we had 1 minute and 30 seconds. David W., I forgot the whole last name, I'm really sorry. It was a little under, it was 56 seconds. Vivian was only 33 seconds, so there were a few that were under the minute. There were a few. Anyway, Andreas, for his first speech, was 1 minute and 50 seconds. Becky, 1 minute 59. Amy, 1 minute 32. Sarah, 2 minutes 14 seconds. Talene, 2 minutes 10 seconds, which is great for someone new. Jare, I think I'm saying her name correctly, 1 minute 55 seconds. Kim, 2 minutes 14 seconds. Mare, 2 minutes 26 seconds. Armighty, 1 minute 16 seconds. Sarah, for her second speech, was 2 minutes 8 seconds. Andreas, 1 minute 42 seconds. And Sam, 1 minute and 38 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you, beautiful. It was a great performance today, members and guests. I would like to now call, I will save the counter for the end because that's the highlight. Let's call Miss Grammarian. Please tell us the results.
Awesome job, everybody. I did not hear any improper uses of grammar. I didn't hear any improper usage of grammar. I will say that we had quite a few uses of dauntless today. Excellent job. Yes. Sam, you said dauntless in your introduction. Madam Table Topics Master said dauntless. Andreas said it 3 times. Once in his first speech and then twice in his second one. We had Amy said it twice. Sarah said it twice. Mare said it once. And then Andreas again said it twice in his second speech. Again, I didn't hear any improper usage of grammar, but I heard a lot of great things today. And I just want to remark on some of the great things I heard. The second David said, we are a privileged society where we have food at our beck and call. Andreas in his first speech said, conjure up. That was a great term there. And felt like being on an alien planet. That was a good description. Becky talked, oh, and we'll talk, I'm from Louisiana too, so yeah, let's talk after. Becky talked about mourned, giving it up. That was a good term there, mourned. Amy said, vault that vegan hurdle. That was a good phrase there. Sarah said with great conviction and aligns morals with actions. Great term there. Tallene, I don't know if I said that right, I'm sorry. Tallene, your body is your body regardless of species. Wonderful phrase there. And these limitations can actually be freeing. Beautiful phrase too. Shar, and I think she stepped out, she said very conflicting to let go of that, but she found it to be a fun challenge afterwards. Kim with her Kale Yeah t-shirts, wonderful. Mayor, I love, you talked about clarity, revelation about clarity, and you kept bringing up that word clarity in there. That was a great phrase and a great reoccurring theme in your response. Our mighty gastronomic pleasure does not justify the lives of animals, I summarized there, but great phrase as well. Sarah, you love the flavor, but there are so many plant-based options. Great way to summarize that for all the non-vegans out here.
Pre-vegan, you're pre-vegan.
Pre-vegan, yes, exactly. Andreas, I think one of the best phrases I heard, are you really that barbaric? That was great. And if you sever your leg off and plant it in the ground, it will not grow back. And I hope that nobody tries that to make sure. And then Sam, you had a great joke with the cannibal, and I know it related very well to your response. Great job, everybody. I enjoyed hearing your speeches and your responses.
Thank you so much, Ms. Marian. It was great. At least you see, dear guests, that maybe it sounds a little daunting that we do so much detail here, but we learn from each other's mistakes also, but even from all these positive things, because now we heard it twice and it will stick in our heads, and we will improve ourselves by watching others. So please come back. But now, let's come to Alcounter. Mr. Alcounter, please tell us the results.
Okay, for today's accounting, there are a lot of different filler words that you can use, but, well, you know, there are only really two words that, well, there's another example, that people used were and you know. So I had one, Armighty had a grand total of 0, Bear had 3 Kim had 8 and you knows. I didn't distinguish between, you know, which one was or you know. But that was the total. I hope I'm saying your name right. Is it Jury?
Jury.
Jury?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Jury had 18. Again, only and your knows though. Tallene, they had 4 you knows and Sarah also had a grand total of 0. Woo! Dave McCann also is a member of the 0 Club. And Dave Willega, another member of the 0 Club. And Vivian, one more member of the 0 Club.
30 seconds,
Very good. Andreas, in the first speech you had 1 Becky?
One light.
He had one light.
Oh.
He caught himself.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Excellent. That doesn't count then. We're not going to record that. You catch yourself. Becky had 3 Amy, you had 1 Oh, I have Armighty down as Toastmaster too. So you had 0. So. And that's it. And Susanna, you had 0.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Accounter. This is interesting to see all the club of zeros here. So it's pretty cool. The famous club of zeros, people who've been coming here and speaking quite regularly, and we all started with many likes, you knows, and as we speak more often, we get better and better, and eventually we reach the club of 0. And Vivian, I guess she did it different way. She just spoke too short. So there are shortcuts as well. Now, this was the table topics. It's over now, and we will have a 10-minute break now. There is a table behind you with a bunch of delicious food and snacks. After we munch, we will come back here and we will have our Chef Babette to do the second half of our meeting. So please go to your food now.
Welcome back to the second half of our Vegan Toastmasters Fall Open House meeting. I'm very pleased to be introducing our guest speaker, Chef Babette. She's a world-class healthy chef, fitness expert, and motivational speaker. She runs a successful restaurant, all vegan, Stuff I Eat, and has a loyal fan base of social media outlets participating in health summit events around the country. She is a force of nature who seems to be able to do it all and transformed her life at the young age of 40. Chef Babette has appeared on such shows as The Chew in the new HBO hit comedy series Insecure, the Hallmark Channel's Home and Family, amongst a few. This soon-to-be 68-year-old is a fitness enthusiast and self-taught chemist in the kitchen. She has been perfecting healthy food that tastes out of this world, which has allowed her to eat and enjoy the meals she loved without the guilt or associated diseases or ailments. The co-owner of Stuff I Eat, a restaurant in the heart of downtown Inglewood, California, Chef Babette shares an array of raw and cooked recipes, including inspirational messages and Chef Babette's delectable delights. Continuing to spread the word of Chef B's delectable delights, she has just completed a dessert book, Cash In on Cashews, the first book in her Crave series, which focuses on the versatility of the amazing cashew nut. You can follow her on Instagram at Chef Babette, Facebook at Babette Davis Official, and her website, chefbabette.com. Please help me give a warm welcome to our guest speaker, Chef Babette.
Good afternoon, family. I feel like it's family now. Can I say family?
Yes.
How's the food? Wonderful? Good. Wait till you taste that enchilada pie. I brought enchilada pie, so save yourself a little space. Also, I was going to do a demo for you guys today, but they didn't let me. It was, who said I couldn't do the demo? No. Don't look at me. I'm just teasing. Next time we'll do the demo and I'll show you how to make that enchilada pie. I'm so excited to be here today, and I'm so glad they stopped counting the ums and the ahs. I can actually get through this talk. Anyway, this is what I normally do. I usually like sharing my journey, because it kind of gives you an in-depth look at Chef Babette from whence she came. Because, man, I'm going to tell you, it's been a journey. It's really been a journey. I was born and raised on the east side of LA. Yes, I'm an original east sider. I went to Carver Junior High School and Thomas Jefferson High School. Yay, Demos. I had an amazing mother. She worked real hard, really hard, 2 and 3 jobs. That meant she had to board my sister and myself out sometimes. I had a real rough childhood in that I had to live with people that were not always very nice. So that meant during the week while my mother worked her 2 and 3 jobs, Babette was with her godmother, being abused. And then when my stepfather picked me up on Fridays, I had to be home with him, being sexually abused. So it was rough. It was rough for a child. I suffered with asthma, eczema, couldn't digest my food. I'd wake up in the middle of the night, couldn't breathe. My mother didn't understand. She didn't know what was going on with me. As far as she was concerned, I was allergic to the dust in the carpet. She smoked cigarettes though. She loaded us up with all kind of dairy, ice cream, cookies. I was so addicted to sugar, it just didn't even make any sense. I had no clue. She had no clue that all the milk and the cheese was killing me. I was suffering in so many different ways, and I had nobody to talk to, nobody to tell. I lived with that. And as I got older, that's when I started dating, along with eating terribly. And I never took my time. I never, ever got into a relationship and decided I wanted to be the person's friend first. I just thought, if you like me, let's just hook up. I'm on husband number 4 now. I'm hanging. It's been almost 30 years. I guess I figured it out finally. But yeah, life was real tough for me, and just the illnesses and the addiction to the sugar and itching. My mother was ignorant. She had, and I'd say that in a very loving way, ignorance is ignorance. She had no understanding that you can't put Tiger Balm on eczema, because then you itch and burn. She didn't know. She just wanted to offer some relief to her child who was suffering so much. I became older and I started using drugs. Cocaine was the drug of choice. I was a crackhead. Yeah, I used to crawl around on the floor looking for crack cocaine. Now I only get down on the floor to do push-ups. Basically, I share this with you to say that, yes, I've come from a very long way. It wasn't just the food. It was all of it. It was everything. And then I meet these guys in my life that want to cold cock me, knock me out, or pick me up and body slam me. So, you know what? There's always room for change. I'm okay, y'all. I got through it. I'm okay. And guess what? When I met this guy, he taught me how to eat. So I got through the abuse, I got through the drugs, and then I meet a guy that finally teaches me how to nourish myself. He gave me 3 books. Fit for Life, Volumes 1 and 2 by Harvey and Marilyn Diamond, and The Mucusless Diet Healing System by Professor Arnold Ehret. I wasn't that big a reader, but he was cute. So I was faking it. Happened to get through the first book. And as I began to exercise all of the information that was given to me in this book, poop didn't stink anymore, didn't have bad indigestion anymore. What about humans taking medication after they eat? What is that? What is that? What is that? What species does that? Medicates after they eat. Why? Why? The doctor never tells you why. They only give you the stuff to take. Just keep eating like you're eating and take medication after you eat. That's sick. I didn't have to do it anymore. I'm telling you, I had such bad indigestion. I always had gas. Look, if you got me standing up here, I'm not getting ready to sugarcoat this or make this sound anyway but what it is. I had bad gas and I belched louder than anybody on the planet I know. Sometimes some of the earthquakes y'all felt was me. Belching. Anyway. But so, I went through Fit for Life, and then when I read The Mucusless Diet Healing System by Professor Arnold Ehret, I was a genius at that point. Oh, I've been doing it all wrong. I became vegan at age 40. Yes, at age 40. It was the best thing that I'd ever done for myself. And it was purely for selfish reasons. I could have cared less about an animal. I wasn't thinking about no animal. No. And we always had cats and dogs, but they were just cats and dogs. But then as I began to study more and more, I realized, Babette, you're just a tiny part of all of this. All of this. This is your home. This is where you live. This is where we all live. And guess what? We are no better than any other species on this planet. We may be different, but we're no better. And we are responsible to take care. Because we walk upright and we can spew this out of our mouths, we are responsible to do the right thing for our planet home and for every being that we share this planet with. We are responsible. Who else is going to do it? And once I began to understand my connection with the whole, because I can't separate myself from all of it. I'm so sick of people talking about color, white, black, and no, one species. All of us, humans. Okay? Yeah, it's like real stupid for us to still be tripping on race. Come on. Really? It doesn't, we're all one in this, y'all. Because when the planet goes, we all go. The planet ain't separating no colors. You get to stay, you yellow. No, we ruin it for every one of us. And so now, yeah, I kissed your baby on top of the head. There was a time I would have never done that. But I understand the connection now. That's the beauty of life. I don't look back at my past and have any regrets. Don't be regretful for me, because I am not. I don't regret not 1 second of what I've been through. I would not be standing here today had I not experienced all of it. It makes me who I am today. No tears. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy that I figured it out so good that I opened a restaurant. Guess what? Girl, sometimes people talk about Babette from the past and then like, restaurant? She can't cook. I wasn't a chef. Self-taught. But the food was good. My husband taught me a lot of what I know, and when we went over to Agape Spiritual Center, and we were there on the parking lot for 6 years, serving our vegan food, and people loving it, block-long lines, and I'm just thinking, this is our market analysis right here. Everybody's loving this food. Walking down the street in Inglewood one day, the doors to Stuff I Eat was open. We went inside, we met the owner, and the rest is history. We had no money. We didn't have any money. Do you hear me? Do not let it stand in your way. Whatever your dream is, you can make it happen. You don't have to have it just in your face. Just do it. And have some tunnel vision. And have a really good reason for doing it. And our reason was to share really good food with the masses and let them know that you can have a fantastic meal and you don't have to eat death. Why do we feel like we have to kill everything we eat? Yeah, they talk about the plants being sentient and but the plants have a season, and that's when I eat them. How long is that orange gonna stay on the tree? Come on now. Well, I'm just supposed to let it rot? No. And an orange is an orange. So while y'all buying all that box stuff, be careful. Because they put some chemicals in some of this boxed up food and you can't even pronounce. I don't even know if we should be eating that stuff. I don't. So just be careful. I just like oranges, apples, cucumbers, greens, black-eyed peas, black beans. All those things, I know what they are. And that is where we have to grow. We have to grow intellectually. We have to understand that if somebody tells, if the U.S. government says it's okay for people to smoke cigarettes that have arsenic in it, how well do you want to trust them? You say it's okay to smoke a cigarette? It's not okay. Especially if it has arsenic in it and you're giving the thumbs up. Why? So no, I don't trust you. I don't trust you to tell me that it's okay. So that is why I choose to eat food that I recognize and that I can say the name. And generally, it only needs to have one name. Not a paragraph or two with ingredients in it that looks like it should be on a can of Ajax. And we don't question it. We just eat it? No. We question everything. And we understand that we don't have to nourish ourselves with death. That is the most important thing. Life begets life, death begets death. Why do you have to kill it to eat it? You don't. So I'm the happy 67-year-old. I'll be 68 December 7th. Yes, I could do a 4-minute plank. Jane, tell him, Jane. Tell him. I don't want to have to pull these little heels off and get down here and do a 4-minute plank. But the point is, because I take care of myself, and I do, movement is key. At 68 years old, you know, I could get down here and not be able to get back up. Maybe I'd have to have a life alert or something. I don't know. But you want to be able to keep your core tight. You want to be able to move. You want to nourish yourself with the proper foods. You want to be as good to others as you want them to be good to you. It all goes together, y'all. We can't have it one way. And I just went and bought me some brand new makeup. Y'all see I got it all painted up? But you can't be halfway in it. Either you're in it or you're not. I need to know what the makeup is made of. I need to know if they're animal testing with the paint that I put on my face. I need to know this. I can't stand here in front of you and talk this game and part of mine is shaky. And no, these ain't suede shoes, so don't be tripping. I got that covered. But no, my lifestyle is amazing, the restaurant is amazing, and because of all of you who come and support us, we're still there. We celebrated 10 years, 2018, we started in 2008. I mean, seriously, when we opened the doors, we literally had no tables and chairs. We had 3 bistro tables. They're still there. Chairs need to be covered, so don't judge when you come in there. I promise I'm getting them covered. But the bottom line is we just stayed in it. We didn't give up because we understood what we were doing. We understood that we were bringing a product to a community, number one, that they considered a food desert. And after 10 years, we're still there. You know what? Our advertisement came from Mercy for Animals, BuzzFeed, Jane Unchained. We never paid a dime to advertise. 10 years in Inglewood, no animal flesh? Are you kidding me? You know I had a good product. No, but seriously, you guys, it's been amazing. I'm so excited. I've been to Europe, I've been to Africa, and I'm speaking in all these places. I'm just having myself an incredible time just being a voice for the voiceless. And I love it. I love it because I'm doing such a good work. Now I just got to figure out how I can spend a little bit more time out of the kitchen. But other than that, my life is 100. I can truly say that. And at 68 years old almost, I'm feeling on top of the world. And if I had not become vegan at age 40, I would not be feeling like this. All the girls that I went to school with, beautiful. My sisters, I love them. But a lot of them have issues. A lot of them have challenges. A lot of them are on walkers. You understand? At 68, I'm not supposed to be up here doing this. And I know I didn't do nothing because I can't dance, but. What's up with y'all? Come on, you ate and you got lazy or what? Anyway, I appreciate you so much for having me here today. I want you to share the enchilada pie. You're probably all full now.
No, we're not.
You'll still eat some?
Yes.
Well, Tara took the salsa and the cream sauce for the enchilada pie. I guess she took it home. Yeah. All you have to do is look inside and you pick up the acai sauce and salsa and bring that, and then they can have the enchilada pie, and that'll be great. Thank you, Tara. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for having me. I hope I shared a little bit of my world and you got an insight on who and what Chef Babette is, but know that I love each and every one of you, and it doesn't matter who out there is thinking crazy. Let's think right. Yes. And lift us up. Yes. Yes.
What are your hours?
Oh, we're closed on Mondays. Stuff I Eat is closed on Mondays, but we're open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday from 12 to 6. Friday and Saturday, 12 to 8. Thanks for asking. Yes?
If you were stuck on a desert island, you could only eat one dish, what dish would that be?
If I'm stuck on a desert island?
Well, one dish.
Oh, just a dish. What dish would it be? Let's see. Well, usually, I'm just going to go back with desert. Usually they have some kind of cactus you can eat. So, I'm all good, Jane. Yes.
Where did you find this great guy?
So this is what happened.
Tell me.
I literally, you guys, I was in a fish market buying some fish for dinner. And his band member was in the market, and I mentioned to them, oh, I sing. and he was like, well, you should come over to our spot. You know, we rehearse all the time. So when I went over to their spot, I met my current husband, and he just talked and talked and talked, and he is still talking like that. But he was just full of so much information. Now, he was not vegan, but he just had knowledge. And we both transitioned together. I did overnight. When you asked the question, was it difficult? Well, I didn't have that big a problem with giving up animal flesh because it got lodged in my teeth. That was so annoying to me. It just really annoyed me a lot. So I never ate a lot of flesh, but chicken, baby, I could eat chicken any way they prepare chicken, I could eat it. And so both of us transitioned at the same time, and that was in 1990. I married him in 1992. And what is this, 2018? Lord. No. We did a good thing together. We were supposed to be together because we built the restaurant and everything's been great. Yes?
So when you talk about all the ingredients being in the food, what do you think about processed meats, fake meats? All of those ingredients.
We decided that we were not going to do that because once we gave up the flesh, we gave it up. So I didn't need anything in my world to mimic animal flesh. Also, it's so processed. I don't know if the human body really recognizes that as food because it's just so, anytime you can, we're going to start with just wheat gluten. Anytime you can take wheat gluten and make Salisbury steak, crab, shrimp, that's suspect for me because I kind of like to know what I'm eating. That's where I am now. That's where I grew. Yeah. Yes.
Will you sing us a short song?
Oh. But of course, I'll sing you the song to the restaurant. And you guys can learn it. It's a jingle, actually. It's not a song. And I'm going to sing it twice, and then you guys sing it on the third time. Now, how many times am I going to sing it?
Twice.
And when are you guys going to sing it?
The third time.
If anybody sings it on the second? All right, so here goes. Stuff I eat, if you don't want meat, try the stuff I eat. 114 North Market Street in Inglewood, California. Isn't that cute? All right, so second time. And you can, give me some soul, come on. Stuff I eat, if you don't want me, try the stuff I eat. 114 North Market Street in Inglewood, California. All right, your turn. 114 North Market Street, that's where everybody goofs up. Okay, 2, 3, hit it. Stuff I eat, if you don't want me, try the stuff I eat. 114 North Market Street. Where? Inglewood, California. Now
us hitting the tipping point for veganism before our planet is destroyed?
I see things changing. I really do see things changing. And food is tasting better and better. And we have more and more places to go to dine. And we have more and more food available to us online, wherever we want to get it. I do see the change. To be perfectly honest with you, Jane, it becomes such a big planet. And there is so much ignorance all over the planet that we got to be soldiers, man. We got to really put the work into, and at every opportunity you have to speak and share and let people understand what life can be like on a planet where we're not murdering and slaughtering to nourish ourselves with food that will ultimately clog our arteries and make us sick anyway. If we could ever get to that point, I'd feel better. I just don't know, Jane. I don't know, and I want to know. I want to believe that one day we can make this happen, but we just really need to start screaming louder and louder. That's how I truly feel about that. Yes, ma'am.
What would be your first suggestion for someone that wants to transition to a vegan lifestyle?
Well, my first suggestion would be look at the product for what it really is. If I burned myself and it blistered, what's in the blister? Thank you. Who said that? You my girl. So when you stick that chicken in the oven and you pull it out and you cut it open and the stuff that's oozing out of that chicken, what is it? All right now. I don't want to eat nobody else's puss. I don't want to prick my burn and suck it. That's gross. And they lied to you and told you that that stuff oozing out of that animal flesh that's been subjected to that heat is juice. It is not juice. Do not be bamboozled and tricked. It is pus, body fluids, blood, toxins, and whatever else is going on with that animal before they slaughtered it. And that is what you sucking down, talking about juice. No, pus. Just call it what it is. No. So for me, that's all I say. I usually say, well, if you don't mind eating animal pus, do your thing. And most people are like, oh, that's gross. Yeah, it is. But you never think about what you're eating. How often do you think about what you're eating? They tell you it's juice and then you just make a big pot of soup. Chicken pus soup. Be all happy about it. Invite your friends over. Got some chicken pus soup, put some veggies in it. No, we don't want no pus. Yes.
A question about Thanksgiving, and we like to call it Thanks-living.
Yeah.
What are your, what would you say your advice, if you were to advise someone on Thanksgiving as a pre-vegan, what would you suggest besides putting a dead bird on a table and being thankful for something that's dead?
Yeah, well, you know what we do Thanksgiving every year. We have a great day on Thanksgiving, and we do everything but flesh. I do stuffing. I do a raw dish, and I also do the cooked dish. Yeah, the raw is, let me tell you, baby. Because, you know, you can do some cauliflower mashed potatoes, and I do a wild rice stuffing that's out of this world. But then I also do the cooked. So I make the cornbread stuffing, because I grew up with cornbread stuffing. And we do greens, and we have greens every day at the restaurant. So we've made it work for 10 years now. We serve Thanksgiving meal and I make cakes. I never even use egg replacer. I make cakes all the time. Sweet potato pies. You know how many eggs my mother used to put in a sweet potato pie? Child, 12. She used to make a batch of sweet potato pies, and she'd make her batch, and she'd put a dozen eggs in that mix. I don't use an egg. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, come on. But she was ignorant. She didn't know any better. That's the way she was taught. So yeah, you don't have to make a big deal out of Thanksgiving. You just have everything but the flesh. And the pus. Anybody else? Yes.
So if I was going to take...
Oh, you're the cook.
So if I it's gonna take a bunch of non-vegans to your restaurant.
Oh, honey, they would
So
have
they're
fun.
used to eating meat and
Oh.
stuff. What were 2 or 3?
Let me tell you, first of all,
suggestions
soul food dish, that's a big seller. Nut burger, we make them in-house, yes we do. Nut burger, that's a big seller. Enchilada pie, the one that I brought you, big seller. Let me see, I should just probably go down the menu. Kilimanjaro, big seller. Lava burrito, big seller. That's everything on the menu. No.
Is there anything particular for non-vegans that they might be?
You can eat anything in there. It's all like regular food. And most of my customers are not vegan. Seriously. And we did that on purpose. The one thing that my husband, he always says, no, food is about taste and texture. Once you have that, people don't care whether there's flesh on the plate or not. And we maintain that. And it's really a good menu. You guys really should come and people. And bring your non-vegan friends. That's what I love. You bring the ones that are sitting there going, are you kidding me? Anybody? Yes.
Going back to the table topics question, what would be your very short answer to the person who says, oh, I can never give up meat?
Puss. That's always my answer. Yeah, I thought about that. I'm a, what's the word of the day?
Dauntless.
I'm dauntless in using the word puss. No, but really and truly, that's pretty much where I go, because we all do this walk on our own, and I can share with you, but I can't change you. But maybe I can make a suggestion to you that you may think about. Even if you don't think about it right now, you may think about it later, and it makes a difference to you afterwards. So for me, if somebody told me that I had to suck on pus, that would just change my mind. So that's my word, pus. Yes. Oh, okay. Oh, my girl.
So I'm wondering, do you have a number in mind of how many people you might have actually changed from eating?
Girl, if I change one, I'm like the preacher in church on Sunday. If I change one soul, I've done my work. I don't know, but I'm going to keep talking
How about
until...
your family and friends, like your close family?
I have my son, Brooke, is vegan now. He was stuck on the cheese, but he had to go to the hospital for the second time and stay almost a week because of his tonsils. That was a wrap for him. My daughter is vegan now. So let's see, that's out of how many kids we got? Yes, only 2 of them. No. It's challenging. I have one daughter that I wish she would become vegan. But in her own time. That's the thing. People walk this walk and they make changes when they realize they really need to make them. And all we can do is put the message out there. That's basically all we can do, is just share the information and be strong in our conviction that the wrong way to eat is through killing, and the right way to eat is eating life. And you can only just say that over and over and over again, But we have to keep saying it, you guys. We have to say it, because what else is going to happen? Look at what happened with the storm. Remember in North Carolina, we lost all those animals because of selfishness. Humans just, I don't know. We got to get over this. We act so unevolved, and it's painful. It really is painful, because we should be better than this in so many different areas. Yeah, we should just do a big old giant group hug right now. Just this group hug thing coming on. But anyway, if you guys are done with me.
Who's ready to have some delicious enchilada pie from Safari? All right, well, we're pretty much at the end of our itinerary. If Mayor, our president, has any closing remarks. Normally we do get guest feedback, but I think in the interest of time we may want to curtail that. But
by all means, if anyone here was inspired to check us out, we're open to guests visiting as many times as you'd like, whether you're vegan, pre-vegan, on the journey, we welcome you.